philosophy as a counterbalance. Confucianism has been one of the most successful philosophies in all history for the regulation of governmental and family relationships. But of course, it is concerned with formality. Confucianism prescribes all kinds of formal relationships: linguistic, ceremonial, musical, in etiquette, in all the spheres of morals. And for this reason has always been twitted by the Taoists for being unnatural. You need these two components, you see, and they play against each other beautifully in Chinese society. Roughly speaking, you see, the Confucian way of life is for people involved in the world. The Taoist way of life is for people who get disentangled. Now, as we know in our own modern times, there are various ways of getting disentangled from the regular lifestyle, say, of the United States. If you want to go through the regular lifestyle of the United States, you go to high school and college, and then you go into a profession or a business. And you own a standard house, and you raise a family, and you have a car or two cars, and do all that jazz. But a lot of people don't want to live that way. And there are lots of other ways of living besides that. So you could say that those of us who go along with the pattern correspond to the Confucians. And those who are bohemians or bums or beatniks or whatever, who don't correspond with the pattern, they are more like the Taoists. Because the Taoist is really, actually in Chinese history, Taoism is a way of life for older people. Lao Tzu, the name given to the founder of Taoism, means the old boy. And the legend is that when he was born, he was already had a white beard. So it's sort of like this, that when you have contributed to society, when you've contributed children and brought them up, and you have assumed a certain role in social life, you then say, now it's time for me to find out what it's all about. Who am I, ultimately, behind my outward personality? What is the secret source of things? And the latter half of life is the preeminently excellent time to find this out. It's something to do when you have finished with the family business. I am not saying that that is a sort of unavoidable, strict rule. Of course, one can study the Tao when very young, because it contains all kinds of secrets in it as to the performance of every kind of art or craft or business, any occupation whatsoever. But it does, in China, in a way, it plays that role of a kind of safety valve for the more restricted way of life that Confucianism prescribes. And there is a sort of type in China who's known as the old rogue. He's a sort of intellectual bum, often found among scholars, who is admired very much, and who a type of character which had an enormous influence on the development of the ideals of Zen Buddhist life. He is one, you see, who goes with nature rather than against nature. Well, now, first of all, I'm going to talk about ideas which come strictly out of Lao Tzu's book, the Tao Te Ching. And, of course, the basic thing in the whole philosophy is the conception of Tao. This word has many meanings, and the book of Lao Tzu starts out by saying that the Tao which can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. Or there's a pun in there which you can't quite put into English. You can't give all the meanings, because the word Tao means both the way or course of nature.
So that means that you're getting d bits out from your hash function. And here, the length is greater than or equal to 0. Right? So that's it. Not a lot that's new here, but a few things that are going to be a little bit different, and there's some subtleties here that we'll get to. I want to emphasize two things, one of which I just said. There's no secrecy, no secret keys here in the hash functions that we're describing. All operations are public. So just like you had your hash function, which was k mod p, and p was a prime, and p was public and known to everyone who used the dictionary, everything here we're going to be talking about is public. So anyone can compute h. And we're going to assume that this is polytime computation, not too surprising, but I'm being quite flexible here. When you look at dictionaries and you think about using dictionaries and using it to implement efficient algorithms, what is the assumption we kind of implicitly made, or perhaps explicitly in some cases, with respect to computing the hash? Anybody? Yeah. Constant time. We assumed, so this is not necessarily order 1, right? So that's important. So we're going to want to make sure you're watching. So we're going to raise the stakes even with respect to the complexity of the hash. And as you'll see, because of the desirable properties, we're going to have to do that. We're going to ask. So that means that you're getting d bits out from your hash function. So that means that you're getting d bits out from your hash function. And here, the length